You may want to convince your boss that you deserve to get a raise. You may want your child or significant other to eat healthier. Or perhaps you're in desperate need of persuading your partner to please not apply for that 5th credit card and that you must start to take your personal finances together more seriously. We all have situations in our lives where we wish that we could influence other people. But one must tread lightly when trying to do this. Oftentimes, it just ends up in an argument where both sides leave the discussion more convinced of their initial standpoint than ever before. But there are techniques that can help you avoid this, where resistance and tunnel vision are replaced with conformity and cooperation. In this video, we'll go through some of these techniques, as this is a top 5 takeaway summary of How to Win Friends and Influence People, written by Dale Carnegie. Let's dive into the 5 takeaways. 2 fishermen were competing in a fishing contest. One of them thought, I like strawberries and cream, so therefore I will bait the hook with strawberries and cream. The other one thought, I don't really like maggots, however, I think fish like maggots a lot, so therefore I will bait the hook with maggots. Who do you think won the competition? It is necessary to bait the hook to suit the fish, and the same principle applies to people as well. The only way on earth to influence other people is to talk about what they want and show them how to get it. So, takeaway number 1 is arouse in the other person an eager want. If you, for instance, would like to convince your boss that you should get a raise, it is quite useless to state your own reasons for wanting this. Instead, show and tell why it would be in the best interest of your boss for you to have a higher salary. Or let's take the example of convincing your kid that he should eat healthier foods. Again, there's no point in stating your own reasons for wanting him to do so. Instead, show and tell why it would be beneficial from his perspective. And when trying to persuade your spouse that it would be beneficial if you were to save and invest more, the same rule applies. Whatever your motives are, he or she is probably not so interested in them. Instead, ask yourself, how can I make this person want to do it? Start to see things from other people's perspective, and you've come a long way towards being more influential. Now, before we move on to the next takeaway, I encourage you to pause the video and think about a situation in your life where you want to influence. Try to think of a want that you can arouse in the other person that is also aligned with your want. Whether the situation is related to work, a relationship, or perhaps a friendship, that doesn't really matter. Just try to apply it and you will remember the advice more easily. Do that now, please. Did you pause? If you did, please comment with a thinking emoji down below for the YouTube algorithm. Meanwhile, we'll move on to the next takeaway. Tommy T was the school's most notorious bad boy. He caused fights among the boys of the class, teased all the girls, and was fresh to the teachers. Mrs. Hopkins, one of the teachers of the school, was just about to get Tommy in her class for the new year. She was filled with anxiety. However, she took a different approach with Tommy than what teachers had done previously, as their methods didn't really seem to work. During the first day, when greeting the new students of the class, she made little compliments to them. Alicia, I understand that you are great with numbers. When she came to Tommy, she said, Tommy, I understand that you are a natural leader. I am going to depend on you to help me in making this class the best one in the school this year. She reinforced this during the following few days by encouraging the boy. Tommy now had a fine reputation to live up to, and he did not disappoint. Takeaway number 2 is, give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. If you want to improve a person in a certain characteristic, act as if he already possesses this characteristic. There's a saying that if you give a dog a bad name, you may as well hang him. But try to give him a good name and see what happens. Let's return to our examples. If you want your spouse to save and invest more, instead of criticizing and complaining about his or her irresponsible behavior around money, try to encourage and find situations in which the person already possesses the qualities you are looking for. Emphasize these. And perhaps you should also give up responsibility in certain areas regarding your personal finances, and show that you entrust the other person with this. Most likely, they will try their best to not let you down. In which one of the following situations do you think that person A is more likely to convince person B to her way of thinking? Situation 1. What? Investing money? That doesn't sound too fun. Nah, I think I'm gonna buy myself that suit we saw the other day. We still have $200 left from this month's salary anyways. Oh, you really are hopeless when it comes to money. It's so obvious that I'm the only one in this household with a degree in economics. I tell you, if we keep spending like this, we will have to work forever. You know what? No. I decide that we will take this money and we will put it in the stock market. Situation 2. What? Investing money? That doesn't sound too fun. Nah, I think I'm gonna buy myself that suit we saw the other day. We still have $200 left from this month's salary anyways. You would look so good in that suit, darling. You think? Thanks, babe. Do you remember when we met that 40-year-old couple during our last trip to Sweden? The ones who had retired already? Yeah, I remember them. Why? You and I said that it would be wonderful to have the same kind of freedom as they had, at such a young age. Yeah, I was actually quite jealous when they talked about how much time they have to spend with their kids. Didn't they say that it all started when they decided to invest $100 every month and put that money in the stock market? The situation in which there's a higher probability to convince person B is, of course, in situation 2. Takeaway number 3 is that the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. This is how an argument often ends. Even if you win it and convince the other person that he is wrong, which may prove to be difficult, pride will make it tough for the other person to back down. Instead, what you want to do is to agree on the points in the other person's argument that you resemble with. Then, after you've left the subject, you move on to talk about your point of view and the pros that are associated with that. There's a bonus takeaway on how to influence people hidden in conversation 2, by the way. Comment down below if you can find it. Also, I will present it in the end of this video. Have you ever thought about why every single infomercial looks like this?
A regular towel doesn't work wet. This works wet or dry. This is for the house, the car, the boat.
Watch how OxyClean unleashes the power of oxygen, making tough stains disappear like magic without fading or bleeding the colors.
Proactive is an easy 3-step system that works for all ages, all skin types.
It is because it's not enough to merely state the truth. The truth must also be vivid, interesting, and dramatic. So, takeaway number 4 from Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People is to dramatize your ideas. Returning to our examples again. If you want your kids to eat healthier, don't just tell them that they'll become stronger and they'll be able to beat up the bullies. Show them a few role models to dramatize your ideas. For example, perhaps you can watch Popeye together. Now I've almost made it look like this book is all about influencing people. But it's actually about how to win friends and influence people. So here comes the 5th takeaway from Dale Carnegie. 3 ways to make people like you. Show a genuine interest. People are not interested in you. And they are not interested in me either. They are interested in themselves. Morning, noon, and after dinner. A person's toothache means more to him than a war in a foreign country that kills thousands of people. Remember that the next time you start a conversation. Be a good listener, talk in terms of the other person's interests, and make that person feel important. Do this, and if you do this sincerely, you'll win more friends in 2 months than you do in a lifetime of trying to show people how important you yourself are. Smile. Why do you think that the dog is the world's #1 Friends winner? It's because they're just so sincerely happy to see us, and they show this not through words, but through actions. Actions speak louder than words, and when you give another person a smile, it says, "I like you. You make me happy. I am glad to see you." Who doesn't like a person who always shows that? The effect of smiling is powerful, even when it is unseen, and can therefore be used in other situations than when meeting face to face as well, such as during a phone call, or in a YouTube video. Remember names. A person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important word in any language. Remember this the next time you're introduced to someone that you'd want to become friends with. Repeat their name during your initial conversation, and if it's a difficult one, ask how it's spelled. This advice is extra effective if the person has a foreign name. And that's it from Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Let's have a quick recap. There's only one way to make anyone do anything, and that is by making them want to do it. Act as if the person is already in possession of the characteristic that you want to improve. Avoid arguments. It will just cement the current beliefs of the other person. Show your ideas in a vivid, interesting, and dramatic way. Make a great first impression by showing a genuine interest, smiling, and remembering a person's name. Oh, and which one was the hidden takeaway in the conversation? It was that you should always start a conversation by having the other person say, "Yes, yes," to get them in an affirmative state, before trying to convince them about something.